really like being on the Native Youth Council. It gets me out and doing this work, especially being away from home.
I really enjoy just the community that it gives. Every single time that I've come to an event, I feel included, and that's something that's kind of unusual and really great about the Youth Council.
So what I enjoy the most about working with our Native Youth Council is seeing how so many of them have blossomed into new opportunities within our community. Multiple of them have had publications in our Food Futures magazine. We have hired one on to work with us as a staff at the Food Sovereignty Lab. We also have had another member of our Youth Council give a presentation for a food-related symposium at UC Davis. There's, more that I can't even think of right now, but to just see that our youth council members from start to now, all the different opportunities that they have taken in our community and in the larger area has been my favorite part.
I think what I enjoy most about working with the Native Youth Council, so a lot of our Native youth are between the ages of 18 to like 26, 27, and I fall in between that range. So it's been really rewarding to see and to learn from other people my age who are really engaged in the work, not just like in an academic sense, but are like active members of their communities and have been for a very long time and are deeply rooted in their cultural ties. And I think seeing that from people who are my age has been really rewarding for myself, and like learning better ways of being in community and better ways of being with self. I think it's like one of my favorite parts about engaging with the Native Youth Council, that I'm always learning something. Like there's always a takeaway. They're always teaching me new things, or they're always showing a different perspective. And if I'm not learning, they're always validating experiences or thoughts that I have that I may not always get validated in my day-to-day life. So it's been really enriching and really validated and grounding to be working with the Native Youth Council.
Some of my favorite activities have been the listening sessions and being able to connect with the youth council and brainstorm more ideas.
My favorite activity that we've done so far was when we canned jam. That was really fun. And I thought that canning jam would have been harder to do, but it was actually a pretty simple process. And when everyone was all in like one room, it just felt so much like community.
I think today has been like a really good day. I feel like maybe our first event where I just got put on, like I was just hired on, so I wasn't as comfortable and I was still really nervous leading some of the programming. So I feel like now that I'm more comfortable and I know the youth and like I've gotten to know them over the last couple of months, it makes today feel very like enriching and just so validating. And like today I got to share some of my cultural foods and some of like the stuff that I grew up eating, which my mom helped us prep yesterday. So it's really cool to like come from a very far away place, both in where I was raised and then where my people are from, still like miles, like thousands of miles away, still be able to engage with some of the cultural foods and share them with other people. And I don't know, just watch them enjoy it. Like I didn't know people were gonna like that rice so much.
So my favorite activity that we have done was our third listening session where we created tea blends and salves. So in that event, the activities where we learned about how to infuse herbs for the salve, what are the benefits, how to create them, and then we ended up creating, I think, like close to 300 or 400, which have been redistributed throughout the community. We also made 2 different tea blends, and same thing, we talked about which plants we used and why did we put these together and what are they for. And to see our youth council make the labels, design the labels, and to see like their genuine interest and desire and the feedback from that activity specifically was that they felt it was very helpful for their knowledge with plants and foods and whatnot.
This is my connection to the land and what feels like most at home for myself. And I felt like a big piece of my life was missing when I got here to school. And so having that connection and knowing that there's a space available for me to go and talk about food and eat food and talk about different aspects of what sovereignty looks like around food, it's a piece of my heart that I didn't want to lose. And so being here on Food Sov Youth Council has really helped me fulfill that piece. I'm super grateful for it.
Some positive things are just feeling confident with yourself and feeling like you're able to go back to your own roots of processing food all by yourself. That to me is something that's so great because I didn't grow up in a house where we talked about where food came from or anything like that. So just the confidence that it gives you that you can go and cook your food by yourself and grow your food by yourself and process your food by yourself, and it's not like an elaborate process that we're made to believe it is. That's really great.
Food Sovereignty Youth Council, we're making medicine, and that's like one of my favorite parts is like bringing back the medicine, bringing back what I've learned from the youth council back home to like my youth.
When I started doing some like heavy substance use, it was in a moment where I felt like really lost, when I couldn't find that grounding that I needed. And the moments I caught myself like finally finding my footing was when I was most grounded in like my cultural identity and my cultural traditions, and where the people around me looked like me and they had similar mindsets in terms of healing and becoming and feeling like your spirit is full, and you're not feeling like you're carrying so much, even though like a lot of our communities do carry so much just by existing every day. We carry so much joy, and I think I needed to be surrounded by people who can carry both the heaviness and that joy and keep that in balance. And I think finding that community for me has been really grounding and has been really healing. I feel like that's directly tied because being connected with culture and being connected with people whose values are in community that includes like yourself, your human community, and then your more than human relatives, it's been really life-changing for me to be connected to that. And I definitely see how the more I've been connected with community, the less substance use has been a part of my life. And I'm not mad at that. That's the way that my life turned out. I think my life has been more enriching. I'm not saying that like people don't have reasons for substance use, or like I'm not going to judge another person for engaging in substance use, but for me it hasn't been necessary. The more I ground myself in community and the more I ground myself in traditional and cultural practices.
For me personally, and on my journey with being connected to culture, food sovereignty, this is something that I started through an internship with the Intertribal Agriculture Council almost 10 years ago now, and that really put me on the trajectory to where I am now. And through that process of deepening my cultural connection, reconnecting to other things, and learning totally new things, that's really what put me on the path to reducing substance use in my life and going fully sober for 2 years. I had in 2022, I had a handful of incidents where relating to food sovereignty events and activities that I was not able to do because of substance use. So for me, strengthening that and stepping into that helped me realize like the role in my life of reducing substance use, and how the benefits that I get from engaging in food sovereignty and culture connection are far greater and like enriching and rewarding than any form of substance use could be. So for me, that connection to myself made me a healthier, better version that's more centered in who I am in my community and my cultures.
I definitely see a correlation between connecting with your culture foods and substance abuse. When you're coping, you're attempting to overcome an obstacle or a struggle. And I don't think substance abuse addresses your struggle in a healthy way. When you're connecting with your culture foods, you're not leaving your reality of who you are and your struggle, but you are being grounded to where you come from, who your family is, your ancestors too. And I think that's one of the positive things about reconnecting with your culture foods, because you're going out there and you're having a relationship with the food you're eating. And when you're preparing it for your family, your friends, or yourself. You're taking care of whoever you're preparing the food for. And it's a lot of care and love in that.